Good! You are not dead! I will be helping you out today. First things first, you're not supposed to be here. Secondly, you are very, 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 very small. Please refrain from panicking. Thirdly, the machine that could return you to your normal size is currently out of order. And everything in this backyard wants to, eat you. Again, your tiny panic will accomplish nothing. You are going to need to find a way to survive out here. I would recommend building a base, maybe a simple shelter of some sort. Oh, and weapons. You'll probably need some weapons. But you should be fine. Unless you get eaten. You'll either be fine, or you will be dead. It's really up to you. Oh, and you might come across some strange things while looking around. I'm not sure who put them here or what they want. What I do know is that they're watching.
In the beginning, there was sand. And in the sand, Conan Exiles left footprints of epic proportions, though the road through development was long, with huge tracts of land. Now, the exiled lands have more than doubled their original size, and is no longer a mere sandbox. The Frozen North update added snowy peaks and fertile highlands, and at launch, the humid swamp and smoldering volcano are introduced. With such a large-scale world, traversing it can be time-consuming. But if you're able to find the recipe to construct the map room, you can fast travel to certain waypoints located around the world. Perhaps you'll visit Sepemeru, the Relic Hunter city to the west, which is now a mostly harmless trading hub where players can come to barter, or perhaps strike up a conversation with the locals over a pina colada. With a fully dynamic weather system, there is a chance you might get caught in the rain, snow, or deadly sandstorms. But if you have half a brain, you'll avoid frostbite or sunstroke by dressing appropriately for your surroundings. The world is filled with dangerous monsters and other humans, as well as challenging world bosses and deadly dungeons. These dungeons are designed to test you and reward those who show strength, intellect, and resourcefulness with items and lore you won't find anywhere else. Combat in Conan Exiles has gone from simple strikes to a grand set of combos with light and heavy attacks and unique moves for each weapon type. And with improvements to artificial intelligence, mastering your moveset and stamina is critical. These improvements also apply to the thralls you capture, making them highly effective guards for your base. Milestone bonuses have been added to perks and attributes, and players can buff their stats with war paints, potions, and armor modifications. There are now hundreds of weapons and armor pieces in the game, which are customizable through color dyes and modification kits. And there are hundreds of building blocks in different tiers and styles for you to enjoy, including crafting and cooking stations, grow beds, and decorative items for the castle of your dreams and your enemy's nightmares. To penetrate the defenses of a player's fortress, siege weapons were introduced in the form of trebuchets, which can give you the upper hand as both attacker and defender, particularly if your enemy has been able to summon an avatar to tear down your walls. With the ability for players to climb any structure or cliff face in the game, necessary defenses like siege cauldrons and crenellated walls were added. And should the enemy somehow be able to sneak their way in, there is always the option of blowing them up in your personal minefield. Defensive construction is not just against other players, as the creatures of the land also rise against you to drive you from their territories.
Years after our great nation began, we gathered together to honor the completion of Vault 76. This sprawling underground shelter may have been engineered by Vault-Tec, but it was built by you. So that if the bombs do come, our way of life will endure.
Almost heaven, West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountains, Shenandoah River. Life is all there, older than the trees, younger than the mountains, blowing like the breeze. Country roads, take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home. Country roads, take me home.
For when the fighting is stopped and the fallout has settled, you must rebuild. Not just walls, not just buildings, but hearts and minds, and ultimately, America itself.
Country roads, take me home, country roads.
In Vault 76, our future begins.
So, I hear you're serving a life sentence without parole. Seems you were a bit of a badass on the outside. Think you got what it takes to be a badass inside the system? Well, have I got an opportunity for you. Here on Tech One's Scum Island, you'll have the chance to explore 144 square kilometers of terrain with a variety of unique environments. We have regular day and night cycles and dynamic weather patterns to keep things interesting. The island has many hidden treasures for you to discover. Remember to stay away from restricted areas. It may be tempting to loot them for supplies, but these areas are heavily guarded and you will be shot on sight. Before you set foot on the island, you're going to have some decisions to make about how you're going to approach your new surroundings. What kind of competitor are you going to be? Strong, stealthy? However you choose to start out, remember that you will grow and mature during the event. Experience is the best trainer that you can have. Pay attention to your body. Many things will affect your health and performance while you're fighting to survive, sometimes in ways you might not expect. When it comes to your metabolism, remember that everything is connected. This opportunity is going to push you to your limits physically. You'll be running, climbing, swimming, jumping. This isn't going to be easy, and you're going to need food and tools to survive. But you'll have to balance that with how heavy they are and how capable you are. You can't outrun a bear if you're loaded down with equipment. And you're going to have to learn to use your tools as well. Your skill and the environment are going to impact your ability to do everything from firing a sniper rifle to keeping yourself fed. Don't worry though, practice makes perfect, and you'll be getting plenty of practice. If you find you need a tool or item built, fear not. There are plenty of resources on the island that you can find to craft whatever you might need. You'll also need to hunt for food out there. Pay attention to your surroundings. Focus and scavenge. It's the only way to survive. Survival is only part of what you're doing on the island. The real reason you're going through all this is for the glory of battle. Join events and test your skills against other prisoners. There are a variety of games for you to participate in. The best part is, your exploits and executions will be televised for the entertainment of the masses. Do well, and you'll gain fame, glory, and riches. You'll have fans and followers on the edge of their seats cheering you on as you climb to the top of the ranks. The most famous competitors may even get a bounty on their heads. But if you're badass enough to warrant a bounty, I'd say you're also tough enough to defend yourself. And the fame and riches you'll be acquiring make it well worth the risk. I sincerely hope this little informational briefing has sold you on the idea of joining our little group. If not, it doesn't really matter. You don't have a choice. We already own you. At the end of the day, it makes things easier on you if you comply voluntarily, but you will comply. Look on the bright side. One way or another, you've already earned your freedom. And there's nothing more important than freedom, prisoner.
Ящики, зайцы. В зайце утка, в утке яйцо.
В яйце моя